Okay. Hi there. My name is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you guys to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage pass to experts in beauty. And my scheduled guest, Carolyn Marshall Covington, one of my friends, she was due to some unforeseen circumstances. She's actually not able to be here. And I want to send my prayers to her, and we will reschedule at a later time. And I also want to let you know that we have another dynamic life changer with us tonight. Hullema Reddick, and you may know her as Hstylze or the covered colorist. So, just wondering, have you ever faced a time when you wanted to give up? And if you're human, most likely the answer is yes. And with all that's going on now in the world, you may actually be feeling like that right now. But as we start to close out 2020 and move into a brand new year, I felt it was like really important to honor people who are living their life in such a way that they are inspiring others. And most, if not all, have been through some things, and all are excelling in spite of. And my guest, Hullema, is no exception. So she's here with a message of don't quit no matter what, because what's on the other side is so much sweeter than you can imagine. So if you love hair color, if you want to learn more about social media and are wondering if maybe you should raise your prices, you're about to be in for quite a treat tonight, and some education as well. So before I formally introduce Hullema and we jump into hearing her story, I want to let you know why I'm here and why I'm so excited and honored to be here. Each and every week, I bring you some of the best and brightest Black artists and entrepreneurs in the beauty industry to share their stories and actually take you backstage into their world. My name again is Miki Wright, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our new Beauty Superstars Talk podcast on your favorite podcast apps, which include Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. And I'll actually leave a link in the comments as well. So please follow us, tell your friends. And if this mission speaks to you, you can consider being a patron as well. And if you're on YouTube with us, I want to invite you to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss an episode. And just to give you a little background, I actually started Beauty Superstars Talk as an opportunity to celebrate Black artists and entrepreneurs who are excelling in the beauty industry, to preserve our history and to encourage entrepreneurship in our industry. So I've had the pleasure of doing almost everything you can do in the beauty industry, including starting out as a struggling hairstylist, becoming an award-winning hairstylist, and for Salon Today magazine, owning one of the 200 fastest growing salons in the country, as well as helping thousands of other stylists and salon owners to get more clients and make more money, basically as a national educator. So I'm second generation. I have a mom that's in the business and a sister, and you could basically say that I love the beauty industry, and I'm really grateful for the legacy of entrepreneurship and all that it's provided me. And Beauty Superstars Talk was actually born out of the murder of George Floyd and the racial tensions that erupted right after. It quickly spilled into the beauty industry, which, if you aren't aware, after churches is still one of the most segregated industries in the country. And during that time, I actually had the honor to be part of a couple of Zoom calls where there were top Black artists, including Hullema, and we were able to meet each other and share stories. And for many, there was a lot of pain over subtle and not so subtle racially charged events, but they actually didn't let it stop them, which is why they were there. And I left feeling so inspired and with a sense that people just have to hear these stories. And so I've expanded my platform to provide a safe space for Black artists to tell their own stories, without anyone else's narrative. And we're here to inspire, we're here to educate, and the next generation of beauty superstars as well, and provide some healing for our beloved industry as well. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, and I want to share just a little bit about her before we jump right into her story. So Hullema says, my name is Hullema Reddick, Muslim, mother of three, wife, friend, owner, stylist of Hstylze Hair Studio. I aid and inspire women to keep going, no matter what, by showing them my scars, life experiences, so they know they can heal. I offer women of all hair textures a skilled experience in dynamic hair color and healthy hair care. As a media influencer and national educator, I educate hairstylists on how to create eye-catching hair color and styling, motivating them to be confident in their craft and have a six-figure mindset, all while bringing awareness to and you have to pronounce this for me,
Niqabi.
Muslim, what is it?
The niqab, the face veil.
Niqab, okay. Muslim woman who wears a face veil, stylist. And she shares, in addition, my passion is hair color. She has gained a notoriety as a hair color artist who can deliver customized, vibrant, and complex hues. She attributes her ever increasing roster of clients to personal referrals and a phenomenal social media footprint comprised of consistent and relatable postings. In fact, her social media strategy was cited in the professional salon trade magazine, Modern Salon, to 2020 guide to 100 content creators. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on your nomination for the American Influencer Awards. I'm just super excited that you're here, Hullema. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. How you doing, Miki?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited that you're here. And I want to jump right in for everything. And thanks for everyone who's watching. It's like we can see comments and all of that coming up as well. And it's like I just run a little something here just to let people know what's going on if they need some support in that area. But you're going to help us out tonight with getting the finances on track as well. But I want to start with you. Yes. And I want to start with what we see first, which is your face covering and all, and just, educate us because, myself included, I want to know more about, why you wear your covering and what it symbolizes, what it means, and how we can, just share with other people. And I think from your sharing on the Zoom call, that you have faced, some discrimination.
Yeah.
And, just share a little bit about that with us so that we have a better understanding of, why you wear it, what it symbolizes. And
okay. So first and foremost, my covering is called the hijab. The hijab goes from the head to toe. It's a full covering. And this, what I wear over my face, is called the niqab.
Okay.
Against popular belief, like most people say, oh, they only wear that when they're married and different things like this. I wore this before I was married to maintain a certain sense of modesty and to avoid just, unnecessary drama, because they say that, Muslim women should be wearing the niqab in times of fitna. And fitna is like times now where there's so many issues and problems where men don't mind saying whatever to you or telling you look good or how sexy you look or how nice your lips are and different things like that. So I started wearing the niqab. It's been about, I want to say 18 years now that I've been wearing it consistently, because I have had times where I've taken it off, but consistently I've been wearing it now for like the past 18 years. I took my shahada, which is my declaration of faith, at the age of 16. But as I got older, I started to learn more about the religion. I didn't just take time. I took time out to actually learn more. So I became more informed. And then once I became more informed, it kind of leads you down a path where you start practicing a little better and different things like that. And as you said, I have faced a lot of discrimination and different things like that. Because I think that it's just you have to be in the know. You know what I mean? So a lot of times this is a sign of fear, a sign of hatred, a sign of terrorism and different things like that. So sometimes people try to avoid bringing it to the forefront because it kind of gets away from all the question asking and, people saying, I'm okay. Because I walked in a room and had a model say she didn't want me to do their hair. So, and it's I guess they feel like if I can't see her, she can't touch me. And I've had people say that. Okay. And dealt with a lot of cyberbullying and different things like that with people just saying mean things online. And, well, why would I let her touch my hair or see my hair if I can't see hers? And I'm like, it doesn't even make a difference. So, and a lot of people don't know I don't wear this in the salon, around my clients. Everybody sees my face and all of the above.
Okay. Yeah. And it is part of your Muslim faith. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is the difference? Like you said that you wore it you wore it consistently for the last 18 years, but before you would kind of go back and forth. What is that?
As I said, they say it's one of our it's something that's told to us that Muslim women should cover their faces, like wear the niqab in times of fitna. So like I said, those are like times now where a man will walk up to him like, yo, you look good, or you got some nice lips there, or you know what I mean? I like that mole on your face. I have a distinctive mole on my face, and it's like people say stuff about it all the time. So just to avoid that, somebody saying something to me out of pocket, I just went ahead and covered up. And then when I married my husband kind of was in the mode where he would rather me wear it than not. So I just chose to go ahead and just continue to wear it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, because I think sometimes the discrimination comes from we're not educated, we don't know, and then what we don't know, we kind of tend to fear. So it's like, okay. But at the end of the day, it's like we're all people, and it's like we're all, human and having these experiences. So you face that with your covering, but have you faced different things in the industry or even outside of the industry with a Black female?
Yeah, definitely. With it just being, first of all, a lot of people think I'm foreign. That's first and foremost.
Oh, okay.
They automatically think I'm from somewhere else until I start talking. And it's like, I've had people tell me go back where I came from.
Oh, wow.
Different things like that. Or I don't belong in this country. And I'm like, I was born here. Like, why wouldn't I? So, and then, like I said, with the hair industry, a lot of people underestimate me due to the way that I look, or they kind of like shun me or don't want to get to know me because of the way that I look. But I've dealt with that for a long time, so I've come to be able to kind of bear with it. And I remember I think it was the year before last, I was dealing with a lot of the cyberbullying. I was posting videos and I didn't want to show myself in the videos. And I was like, if I show myself, then people going to say stuff and comment, and they did. But then I also seen a meme that somebody said, I love when people act funny towards me, and then when they find out I think it's like they find out that I'm Oprah or something like that, because it's like, like, oh, wait a minute, like a lot of people know her, or she's popular, or she does really good work. There's a different, grammatic, like everything changes at that time.
Right. And I think, there's definitely a lot of people who can.
I'm sorry, I said grammatic, dynamic. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I meant to say dynamic. I said grammatics. I'm like a different.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people who can identify with that aren't covered, that it's like they're the person that's seen as a little bit different, or the one that no one kind of gets them or understands, who they are or what they're up to. And then, you see their work, or you see, this accolade being poured out, and you're like, oh, well, who is that? I may need to get to know them, and that type of thing. And so I think, I love your confidence in who you are, what you are about, what you stand for, your commitment to excellence and quality. Your work, absolutely speaks for itself. So backtrack us now and tell us, how did you get into the industry?
I started out as a shampoo assistant.
Okay.
I was in high school, and I was, go to the salon. It was like my safe haven. So I was working under Sonia Miller, Leon Hutchison, and I can never remember Kenya's last name, but this was before it was even a platinum shears. Okay. So they were on like 48 Spruce. I was shampooing for them, and I started, paying attention to what they were doing. And I was still in high school, and I was excited to pay attention to what they were doing and how they were able to change somebody's complete look and just give them like so much confidence and all of the above. And I kind of appreciated it. And at that time, I wasn't really into hair at all. Okay. And I had a girlfriend of mine. We used to go to the hair salon together from time to time. And one day we couldn't go. I forgot why we couldn't make it, but we couldn't get there. And she was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My hair is a mess. I was like, I probably can fix it. And when I did it, it looked amazing. I was like, oh, okay, like I can fix it. Every parent has that idea. My grandmother raised me, my father's mother. Every parent has that aspiration for your child to go to college, follow through, get a degree, and all of the above. And I felt like at first I thought I was letting my grandmother down, because I was like, I don't want to do that. I really want to get into hair. And I let her know. Of course, I got cussed out, child. Oh goodness, I got fussed out, and I just went ahead and followed my dreams. So I went to school, completed school, and I think I'm like I was telling some of the people in the class yesterday. I think I'm one of those people who are like naturally talented. Like I could sit and watch you do something, and I could just go do it.
Okay.
It wasn't about skill and tact with me. Like I would pick up something and I would just like excel in it. So about 10 years ago, I decided to stop doing weaves. It might be over 12 years now. I decided to stop doing weaves because Muslim women are not supposed to add or wear false hair.
Oh, okay.
Like human hair. And I had to stop because I was like, okay, during Ramadan, I won't do it. But then when Ramadan was over, I would just go back and start doing it. And I just finally made a conscious decision to stop.
Okay.
And, when I did, it kind of like, well, what are you going to do? So I kind of like invested my time into learning more about color and getting more versed in color, like well versed in color. So I like dove in, and it's been like my thing ever since then.
So what was it about color that interested you, or was it just like, oh, I got to find something else,
No, it was really what it was about is like the I think it's the science of it. It excites me because I was always into science and in school, and I wasn't good with math, never was good with math, but I love to write and I always liked science. So I think I like dealing with ratios and different things like that. And one year I was supposed to take a class in cooking during the summer, and I ended up taking an architecture class one summer, and we learned about like Paul Mitchell and a bunch of different Vidal Sassoon and different stylists who used geometric shapes. And I think was it Paul Mitchell or Sassoon that started out as an architect? One of them was an architect. Yeah, okay. One of them was an architect first, and I think that they threw that in with us when we was going through like geometric shapes and different things like that. And they talked about how they use different angles to create haircuts. And when you look at architecture and different things like that, some of those angles and those structured points made things come together and make sense. So it was very, very interesting. And then with the color, like having the art class and going to art classes and different things like that, the blending of color. Once I got into knowing the color wheel, it was over.
Okay.
It was over for me, and learning color palettes and different things like that. And I think that's what excites me about the color, actually putting colors next to each other and seeing how you're able to blend and create different looks with just the color, or frame somebody's face with color, accent their look with color is deep.
Yeah, and I love that it's that deep for you, because that is, it's like you say, it's that combination of the artistry and the science, and being able to shape someone's face and be able to really bring out certain features with the color. And like you just said, the color wheel, once you got that, it was on.
It was
so any tips for anyone who's struggling with getting their color wheel down? Because like I've interviewed a lot, not this kind of interview, but like job interviews with, people coming out of school, some that are experienced, and they're like, oh, like I do color. And, I'm like, okay, well, tell me your color wheel. And they're like, and, it's pretty much to me impossible to do color without understanding the color wheel. So tell us, what, or if any tips you can share to help anyone who might be wanting to do better color.
I think the best thing to do is, if you're working with the color wheel, to create your own customizing color, learning how to customize color. Because once you learn how to customize color, it kind of intrigues you to know what goes with what. So when you're doing your primaries and your secondaries and your tertiary, like when I start dealing with tertiary colors and knowing how much more to add or how much less to add of another color to create a color, it was all about creating the format for the colors, right? So I think that if they move forward into playing around with it, adding colors, like taking your red and your blue and creating a violet, or taking a yellow and your red and making a orange, I think that that's what inspires you more to do a lot more. And I, learning how to cancel out color, because it was exciting for me. And I love doing custom color, because I'm somebody, I'll have 4 bowls in front of me, and I'm able to create an extra color. I don't know, 4 bowls, so we might end up with like 6 or 7 colors with just those 3 bowls in front of me.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So would you suggest maybe taking regular art classes like you were talking about
Yes.
kind of before getting into color, or to make a lot of more of it maybe make better sense?
I think art classes and decor classes.
Okay.
When
Hmm.
you take home decor, like with paints and different things like that,
Right.
you get to learn color palettes.
Okay.
So understanding color palettes and knowing what colors go with each other. Like I'm
Hmm.
somebody who I will totally put a color, like my accent color will have nothing to do with anything else, but it will work because I know that can go into that palette.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think
Okay.
like home decor, like when you're dealing with like paint and stuff like that, I think that's a good
Hmm.
idea. Or you just go to the paint section in the paint store and grab some palette swatches.
Okay.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I think that's a good idea too.
Right. Right. And just kind of see what happens when you match and pair up.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like fun. And even like the interior classes, where you've got a room where you want to create a certain mood. And so you've got, like you say, the paint on the walls, but then you've also got the addition of furnishings and, like accents like your pillows and throws and that type of
Exactly.
thing, as
Exactly.
well as the, maybe art on the wall that might have a whole different flavor to it, which gives you just that, that extra layer of creativity when you get a client in your chair.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a series on, black, do black colorists matter? And did a whole interview with four different black colorists, in addition to Jessica Kidd, who started, Black Colorists Matter.
I love this.
And talk to us, because I mean, texture needs to be the conversation these days, period. I mean, it's needed for a long time, but
Mhm.
talk to us about differences with coloring different textures of hair, because I think you work with all different types of textures, from straight to curly, wavy, kinky.
Yes. So what people need to understand is that when you have a colorist that actually does work with textured hair,
Mhm.
they need all the kudos and accolades and high
Yeah.
fives and all of the above, because it takes a lot to work with textured hair. Because of the levels of absorption, how much product you have to use, how much how what goes into breaking down the colors and those underlying pigments and all of the above. It takes a lot of work, opposed to when you have maybe somebody whose hair already starts at a level 4, or different things like that. But when you have somebody that literally comes in where they're like between a 1 and a 2, it's like, wait a minute, like a lot cut out for me. And one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest issues I've had since I've been an educator, is that I go into a room of hairstylists and I say to them, who's been in the industry 20 years, who's been in the industry over 20 years, and you have like 15 hands go up, right? And I say, at what level does red leave the hair? It's
Mhm.
like crickets.
Okay. Okay. The
I'm like,
cricket question.
yeah, it's like, so when you have somebody who is, first of all, somebody who's really dark, whose skin is dark and pigmented, right?
Uh-huh.
More than likely their hair is pigmented, like
Mhm.
very, very dark. So it takes a lot to pull their hair up and still maintaining the integrity of the hair. So
Right.
dealing with texture hair is a lot of work. And I don't think that African American artists get the props that they deserve for dealing with textured hair. You know what I mean? And I kind of like, I've always felt like it wasn't fair, but a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes of what it takes,
Right.
how hard it is, the kind of work that the kind of work that we had to do to actually pull that out,
Right.
So, yeah, it's heavy. It's
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah. That's actually why I did the series, because it's like there is so much that goes into coloring textured hair. Number one, the darkness, like you said,
Yeah.
getting that hair to lift and not have too much warmth.
Right.
And the fact that it typically is drier, in terms of
Yes.
not only maintaining integrity, but maintaining integrity on hair that's much drier to begin with, in terms of creating
Yes.
that moisture, and color can be drying. And so
Yes.
balancing what that looks like. And then, the tones, the care and upkeep,
Yeah.
all of those things are key critical things with hair color.
Because
But
I think when we started out doing color, a lot of us, and I'm saying overall, just would lift and deposit.
mhm,
So we were just lifting and depositing. Toning wasn't a thing.
mhm,
So now when you know better, like they say, you know better, you do better. and you have to know the rules in order to break them.
Right.
Now it's like learning toning and how to get rid of those brash tones and how to balance our color. It's so much, like we talked earlier about the science that goes into it. It's a science that goes into it. And I know we're going to talk about finances and different things like that. And with clients, it's so hard to get them to understand because so many other stylists don't know, but they're coloring. You know what I mean? So like I said, when I ask somebody and I got 15 people raising their hand saying that they're actively doing color, but can't tell me when red leaves the hair, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that we've come so far, especially as Black artists, with coloring. But like you say, there's such a gap still. There's so much further to go in terms of what we need to know, and what we need to know to, not only do the coloring, but to leave the hair intact as well. And you were talking about toning. That's a whole nother category and level. And I know there was at one point, several years ago, where it's like, if I see another orange head of hair, I'm just going to scream. I felt like pulling somebody over. I don't even know if I was doing hair at the time or not. It's like, let's just take you in for a quick tone. It's like just a lot of lightener and just stop right where it was.
And keep it going. And then some people are afraid of, you have stylists who will lighten the hair. Because when I work with influence. So with influence, the processing time is 50 minutes. Like you can go up to 50 minutes in processing, right?
Okay.
And when I say that in the classroom, they're like 50 minutes. Like everybody like 50 minutes. We can leave it on for 50 minutes. And then to hear people say that they're so don't put them under the dryer. And I'm like, you're putting people under the dryer with lightener? Girl, I'd be like, oh my goodness, somebody give me some water, something. Okay. I would pass out. It's scary. It's scary. And then it's like we have to become better with sharing with each other in order to offer that knowledge. But unfortunately, some of us get the information and it's like mine. They don't want to share. They don't want to offer it to someone. But if I'd rather somebody offer it to someone opposed to them tearing their reputation apart or ruining their business by coming in and just doing anything. Right. You know what I mean?
Which I think, always kind of reflects on everyone else in a sense as well. Like, okay, the stereotype is, that Black people can't color hair. And so we're still fighting that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know if you found it. It kind of sounds like you have. It's like when I used to teach hair cutting, I'd offer like a basic, 101 kind of class, and no one would sign up. And then you offer the advanced class and everybody signs up.
Exactly.
Except they don't know any of the basics, So it's like, whatever you call it, we've got to start from the basics and make sure everybody's on the same page and then take everybody forward from there. Is that what you find with teaching color?
Yes. I've had people, I've asked, like I said, I'll ask who's been doing color. Are they actively doing color and how long they've been, working in the industry? And I had somebody who said they've been actively doing color for over 10 years. And when I asked her primary colors, she told me red, black, and white.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think there's such a big gap, but then there's that like fear of, I don't want to acknowledge or anyone to know that I'm not quite sure that I know.
Right. And she was confident, but I told you to not be in classes where I asked and it's like the hand is here.
Right.
And I'm like, no, put them up, raise them up high because I want to know. And then the hand goes down a little bit further. Then it's like, okay, I'm not going to raise my hand because I don't want to be wrong. Right. But I'm like, no question, no answer is a wrong answer because I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you what it is so we can get better. And I think it's just that whole, like, it's between egos and being overly confident in something you just don't know.
Right. Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with that for sure. So, yeah, I think the color, so talk to us about like the pricing. You mentioned that, and that's definitely something that I recall. I interviewed Jamez and I was asking him because a lot of times I found through my experience that the men are more confident in terms of charging. And he was like, oh no, Hullema's the one, So I love, confident females and confident, people who are, able to charge, because I think especially right now, we need to make sure that we're charging enough, because the number of clients that we can do for most of us was kind of reduced with, COVID, and all of the things that we need to do, all the protocols that we need to do.
Right.
So tell us about, how do you start your pricing, I guess, or start the conversation maybe with a client?
Well, what we have started doing with the clientele is, one, when we book consultations for color, the consultation starts at $50.
Okay.
And, it's normally 35 to 40 minutes. But when we have the person come in, the client may come in, we'll sit down and talk to them, and we'll have a conversation, talk about what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like, different ways of figuring out what they like. So a lot of times you'll have a client that'll come in with a color, and it's not about the color, it's actually about the person who's wearing it, and they don't even understand it. So they'll bring you a picture of a client, of a person out of a book, magazine, Instagram, wherever, and that person's hair is maybe orange with a bunch of highlights and all of the above, but her makeup is bomb, the eyebrows are popping, her lipstick is on point, and you take your thumb and cover the face, and it's like, well, I don't really want that, those browns that are in there. I don't want those. And maybe if you take away you see the part that's right here that's really, really light, I may not want that. Do you think that color looks good on me? And so then, but what I do, I go over, before I do a patch test, I explain to them, if they come up with what they like and I feel like this is something that will work for them, I go over how much the cost will begin or how it will start. And then I may let them know how much it's going to cost. Normally, I'm going to say more than less. I had people who are like, oh no, that's too much. I didn't know color cost that much, and they'll change their mind, and maybe they'll move into getting conditioner or a conditioning treatment, or maybe they'll just say, I'll maybe just come back another time, or when I can afford to do it, then that's fine. But and I'm not mad at them for that. That's fine. And people say, well, do you still charge them? Yes, because it was my time. Sometimes it may take almost 30 minutes to get into knowing what they really want, because they're confused.
Right.
But our base color service, just for lightening, starts at $350.
Okay.
So that's full head blinding, starting at $350, and then you have your additional colors. So every 2 colors is $60. Then with our toning, the toning is $125, and that's per session. So because some people, you may end up using 2 ounces of color in order to, more than 2 ounces, like 4 ounces, depending on your ratio, in order to achieve your toning process. So every tube that I crack is $125.
Okay.
So and it's with me knowing, it's me putting the science into it, my expertise, my understanding of color, and all of the above. All that comes along with the price, and basically knowing that I can achieve what they want. So
Right.
basic full color service after it ends up being maybe like almost $700.
Okay.
So to some people, that's like $700 for some color. Oh no, honey, I absolutely not.
Right.
But then you have your people who really want to get it done, so it happens.
Right.
But I'm very confident with how I explain my pricing, and like I said, I explained it from the door. There's no sugarcoating. I don't say end up. I make sure they know exactly what they're going to spend, and go from there.
That's because you've actually done the full consultation, and you know what they want, and you know their texture and what they're going to need. And so what goes into the maintenance of that particular service? Are you having that conversation with them during the consultation?
Yes. Explaining to them that, first of all, we always explain that color is an investment. First and foremost, that's the first thing I lead with, that making sure that they know that color is an investment. Normally they lead with shampoo and conditioner for home maintenance, because a lot of times they'll say that they want to come back, or they'll be back in 2 weeks, and the next week they'll cancel the appointment for the follow-up. And that's just being honest, but they lead with the shampoo and conditioner. And sometimes I always ask them either 2 weeks before to come in for a Proplex, which is a protein treatment, for them to go under the mister, and then they come back, and when they come back in 2 weeks, the 3 weeks, they're ready for color. So their hair is ready, is strengthened, is ready. So that's one of the first steps. And then after. Normally with my blondes, I have them come in 2 weeks after the blonding, but when I do fashion color, I have them come in 2 weeks before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I let them know, like, you're gonna need a trim, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need that, and I explain it to them. So a lot of times they're like, "Oh my goodness, that's so much," but if you want it, it's a commitment, and it just is. It is what it is. It's an investment and a commitment.
Right. Okay. Okay. I like that. And then what about products? Do you offer like something for them at home, or how does that piece work?
For sure. So normally I have 2 different shampoos. I always offer sulfate-free shampoos and conditioner. And we either have the honey almond or the coconut milk conditioner. Normally coconut milk is I give that to clients whose hair is someone who I think that if they're not maintaining it could be compromised. So I normally offer them the coconut milk because it's the protein that fortifies the hair. And then just as a moisturizer, I offer the honey almond because it's sulfate-free, paraben-free, hard salt-free, and it keeps the hair soft and moisturized. So I normally send them home with the shampoo and conditioner and maybe a leave-in also.
Okay. Okay. And that's separate from the service price. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I love your confidence. So how did you get confident enough to say those prices, basically?
I don't want to be ghetto on here. If I could look a man in the face and tell him that, listen, you will pay these bills, honey. I could look at somebody in their face and tell them, listen, this is my work, this is what it's going to cost, and I need my coins, okay?
Okay.
I don't say it like that, but of course, I'm very straightforward. You know,
right.
It's nothing to play with. Like, this is my livelihood, and this is my business. So if, I feel like someone is maybe not so confident, I kind of try to break down and explain to them why this is so much and why this goes like that because of these processes that we go through. And because I know that when you leave here, you're going to feel good. Your hair is going to look amazing. And I know that my name is stamped on it. You know what I mean? So, and the cost of the products, like products are not cheap.
Right.
And I'm a concept salon. So the stuff that I use, I don't go online I don't go to the hair supply store and buy my products.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything I use is not from over the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So the exclusivity adds to the service as well.
Right. Right. Yeah, I definitely appreciate all of that. And one of the things that you said, I think is key. So I just want to highlight that you were like, when they leave, you know what they're going to look like in terms of the hair, because I know there's some folks watching that are like, okay, I'm hoping this thing, let's see if we could just add an extra prayer, So
right.
And, we've all been in that spot, at some point in our career, but, having that knowledge, like you say, the training and the knowledge and the understanding to know when I put this on with this, that this is going to happen. And so I think, for everyone to take the pricing and look at your pricing now and look at it compared to Hullema's and, and then not only look at that, but to look at an assessment of like, where are you in terms of the service that you provide and the knowledge that you have to provide the service on an ongoing basis.
Yes, because the day of I'm going to say, let me get up close in this camera. The day of the $45 shampoo and style is over.
Okay. Talk to us. We need to hear this.
It's so stressful because I feel like, for so long we sit around and we accommodate our clients, right? We try to accommodate them the best way we can. Mm-hmm. When in all actuality, we have to realize that we do so much and we take so much in on a daily basis that we need to make sure that we're charging the proper price. So if I buy a gallon of shampoo, my gallon of shampoo is $40. Mm-hmm. Why would I charge $35 or $40 to shampoo someone's hair? You have to think about that also, because you have to think about the shampooing, the conditioning, the leave-in conditioning, the blow drying, maybe a deep, and then to mention the fact that you have someone who you may work with someone. Like I have an assistant. You have to pay your assistant. I have a salon coordinator. When my salon coordinator sees somebody coming to the door, she has to go to the door, take their temperature, make sure they're wearing a mask, all of the above. And these things all cost money, right? But I'm going to have someone come in and devalue me right?
Mhm.
And I've had clients say, "Oh, you went up on your prices." I said, "Yes, I did." Oh, girl, listen, honey, okay, because you know the Dominicans, I don't have nothing against the Dominicans. I just know that I have issues where I've had people tell me, and I've seen it. I had read an article one time. I think it might have been about 5 years ago, where they had closed some of them down because they were finding um uh hydrogen peroxide or something inside their conditioner. So they were actually adding relaxer and into their conditioner. So you're getting your hair shampooed and the conditioning process is relaxer in there and you don't know. Right? So they're texturizing your hair. And then people were like, well, my hair is getting thinner and thinner. It's starting to break off and different things like that. But because it's $25, you want to go there.
Right.
But then you come to my salon, you want to drink my water, you want to eat my fig bars, you want to eat my crackers, you want to drink my coffee, you want to drink my tea, you want to eat my candy, you want to use my electric to charge your phone, you're using my toilet paper, you're using my paper towel, you're using my hand soap. So these are things that come into play. And those days are over for us. You know what I mean? Devaluing yourself is over. It's over. So a lot of times I look at different areas, different places where people go, different places where people live, and what they're charging. But then I look at the fact that I've been in the industry for 27 years, over 27 years. I had a smaller space. I got a bigger space. I started taking different classes and different things like that. My value went up, right? So if my value is going up, why shouldn't my prices?
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're getting quality service, quality hair care, and all of the above, why am I not charging the proper price? Because I'm telling you, when I first started building clientele, I was doing $14.99 shampoo and styles. I was doing $25 Tuesday, different things like that to build the clientele. But once I got to a point where it was standing room only in the salon, I knew that it was time to change some things, you know. And when you get to a point of building, sometimes you'll sacrifice some things. But I also was smart enough to know that at that time, I was buying, I'm being honest, I was buying, I know when you go to the hair store, they have like this $8.99 gallon of shampoo and conditioners, like cherry, aloe, and I think like a passion fruit scent. And I was buying that to do my $15 shampoo and styles.
Right.
Okay, but once I got to a point where I knew I was building this clientele, things were on point, and I needed to do better. Now I ain't gonna lie, that $8.99 shampoo cleanse some hair, honey. That's but you know,
right.
Even though it was a $15.99 shampoo and style, you couldn't tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it looked good. And those days of $100 for a single process, that does not make sense. Because sometimes a single process can, like a full head lightening, a single process could take you 3 to 4 hours. So you took 3 hours of your day, and that 3 hours of your day was only worth $100. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
It's not fair, because when you look up, you have white stylists who are making $1,200, $1,500, sometimes $3,000 on one head. Right? So why can't we build ourselves to a point where we're able to charge that much? You know what I mean? And when the work looks that good. So, I mean, we had to start really learning to value ourselves, you know, and know that what we're doing is important and we are needed. You know what I mean? It proved it during COVID.
Right.
People were losing their minds because they couldn't get their hair done. So we are definitely essential, for sure. But it's like when you see people crying because they can't get their hair straightened, or crying because they can't get curls, it's like, you're crying about curls?
Right.
Right? And a lot of, also I want to say this really quickly, guys, with regard to the COVID restrictions and different things like that. I saw so many stylists posting we're beefing up the measures, and yes, and we're going to ensure that everybody is getting their temperature taken. Why did it stop? Why did it slow down? You know what I mean? Why did you stop like enforcing the mask? Because what happens here is you cannot wear outside masks in my salon.
Okay.
So when you come, you have to get is a basket outside at my sanitation station where you have to get hand sanitizer, and you get your temperature taken, and you have to take off your outside mask, take out a new mask, put on a new one, and replace your outside mask inside the bag. It has to stay inside that bag also, because There's no outside mask allowed in here because you bringing your germs, or you don't wear this mask. This is the mask you pick up every day to throw on to go outside, but you're gonna come in here with it, sit around us, and all the germs that are sitting on there, you're just breathing them on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
if you was already on point, stay on point. Don't slack up. Don't let up. I took a COVID test today, a rapid COVID test, because I'm leaving for Puerto Rico tomorrow. So I took one today and it was negative. And I wanted to post my results because, and I know a lot of people don't, but I wanted to post my results because I was so happy. Child, let me tell you something. Taking a COVID test is like taking an HIV test. You be sitting there like,
right.
like, please let it be negative, please.
Right.
So make sure you stay on top of that, because you can't not be at work. I see so many stylists getting sick, so many stylists who are shutting down their salons, so many stylists out partying with no mask and different things like that, and getting sick and losing. You know what I mean? And if this is your only source of income, you treat this like this is your baby. Like if it's your child, you secure it, you take care of it, and make sure it's protected.
Right. Well, thank you for saying that, because I wasn't even aware that people have started slacking. And it's like, I know the numbers are going up. So it's like we need to be even more conscientious, because it's more likely somebody is positive than negative.
For sure.
Yeah.
They lie about having color in their hair, honey. You know they're gonna lie about being around somebody with COVID or even being asymptomatic. Okay. So you know that, have you had any color in your hair? Black.
No.
So why you
never?
I had a rinse about a month ago. You be looking like that's color. So yeah, you gotta stay on top of it and really protect your space and your peace. You know, it's important. But and charge your worth. I'm telling you, it's important.
Yeah. I love how you broke down everything as far as the costs that we have to be in business. I recently met with someone, just a brief little coaching session, and she's like, oh, I just throw in like a rinse or something when they need it. And it's like, have you bought color anytime recently? I want you to tell me how much that color costs.
Right.
Throwing it in. And it's like, there's no way that you can afford. It's like you're almost paying them to come and sit in your chair if you're not charging enough.
Exactly. Even for a glaze, like if I'm doing a glaze, my glazes are $30. Like even if it's a clear glaze is $30. Right. My haircuts are $110 by itself.
Right.
Not $110 the shampoo and style and everything. No, it's $110 by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I use Hstylze shears. I've taken several Hstylze classes. I've taken several cutting classes. I've flown to Texas. I've been to Maryland, New York, all of these different places all over, taking classes, Florida, taking classes in order to become better. You know what I mean? So, and I'm using $900. I got one pair of shears over there that's $1,400. Why in the world would I ever charge somebody $50 for a haircut? And I'm using $1,400 shears to cut your hair. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
But I just think that we don't add that stuff in because then we're afraid to lose clients. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. Since I raised my prices, right, I do less hair, but I make more money. I can easily have and I can show y'all, I can easily have a $1,400 day with 5 clients. And that may be one color service and the rest is deep conditioners, cuts, and all of the above. I could have a $1,400 day.
Yeah. Let that sink in, guys. And so tell us, you were mentioning the $45 shampoo and style has gone. So tell us, where's your price range for the shampoo style?
It's $85 right now for just a basic shampoo and style.
Okay.
But my mold and style is $95, and if they want waves, is $110.
Okay.
Like wave, mold, and style.
Okay, those are beautiful too. I watched you do one online.
Thank you. That's my 3D wave technique, and that's something too. If you have a client, and that's why I started doing that a lot, because you have clients who come in and their hair is natural, right? And I'm gonna cut the hair. I'm going to mold the hair, even though it's natural. I still mold it so it can have shape and form, but I'm going through it with a pressing comb. After I'm going through the pressing comb, I'm going back in and I'm creating these waves in their hair, right? And then sometimes you have clients where I may wave the front part, but I'm doing the 3D waves in the back to give it dimension, give it some shape and some fullness because their hair might be thin, right?
Right.
That's a whole nother set of steps. Why wouldn't I charge more?
Right. Right. And more time and
Yeah,
more product and
exactly.
more knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have to keep all these things in mind. I think we just come from a place of bundling and all of the above. Everything is a la carte. I seen a la carte somewhere on here, but everything is a la carte because it's like at the end of the day, everything is separate service. Everything is.
Right. Right. And so is there some suggestion that you could help someone, like you started at the $14.99, hairstyle and now it's up to 85. It's like, what steps do we need to be taking in between to kind of make those shifts? Because that's one of the biggest things I see is, we don't know if we're charging enough. We don't know if we're charging too much because we don't know what we're doing, but we're charging a big price for it. Or we don't want to raise our prices, like you said, because we fear losing clients. So what would you suggest would be like a stepping stone to making some change?
I would say stay educated. That's first and foremost. Because it's so many things that people don't know and don't pay attention to with regard to hair textures, about pressing the hair out, about heat damage. Because let me tell you something, with YouTube University being such a big place for people to go, right? Everybody's concerned about heat damage. Is my curl pattern going to be distorted? Am I going to lose my curl pattern? And so on and so forth. So now you have to have product knowledge. And a large majority of the time, we buy these products from different companies and we literally don't know what we're buying. We don't know what the product does. But once you have product knowledge and you know what's inside those products that is going to help the hair and is going to make the hair stronger or is going to make the hair fuller, then you're able to offer that to a client. Exactly, education. So you have to know different things. You have to be in the know, right?
Right.
Then once you have that in place, because I tell people in my classes all the time, you can't charge $350 for full hair blonded if they're leaving out of there looking like Tony the Tiger.
Okay.
Seriously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spots, it's yellow hair, it's orange hair.
Right.
You got hot roots. You didn't do this. The hair is overexposed. You done exploded the cuticle, different things like that. You have to have the knowledge first in order to be able to implement those things. And don't think that because you've been in the industry so long, you don't want to take this class. And, I only need to take this class. No, you need to take them all. Whatever's coming your way, take it in because there's always something new that you're going to learn.
Always.
Like I could take your class right now and something you may say, I'll be like, wow. That's so true. Well, I'm going to try that next time because what I was doing before wasn't working and I've been trying to figure out something and that makes sense. So there's always those little aha moments. Right. And stop being cheap. And stylists, I'm saying this to everybody on here, stylists, whoever, stop being cheap. Stop thinking I'm only going to pay $35 for this class. I only want to go to the class that costs $35. I'm not paying her no $150 for them. When you had like my hands-on color class, right, is $600.
Okay.
But you get the mannequin and I teach one color technique. But I'm offering you everything that goes into that, which is you got color theory, color placement, how to find the placement, how to understand the placement, how to know where to put the colors, what colors go together. And then you get your mannequin and I personally show you how to place the color. So I'm not giving up my work for nothing. You know what I mean? And if it is $600, that's $600. Get those coins together. Stop being cheap. And you have to invest in yourself. That's so super important. You have to invest in yourself. And I don't have anything against buying products from the hair stores and different things like that. But when you buy the lowest of the low, it says a lot about you and what you want to offer to your clientele. Because if you're going to make the money, you're going to be able to spend the money to get the products you want. You know what I mean? So if you want those Pravanas and all of those other colors, I don't use those, but if you want those things, you're going to have to make the money to be able to afford purchasing them.
Right.
And making sure that you're fully stocked. Like my color bar, I literally had to have 5 of each color. If I'm under 5, if I get down to 3, we have to make sure that we order enough because I absolutely had to have 5 boxes of each color, right? Because it's nothing worse than going to do somebody's hair. You need a 5V and you got 1 ounce of 5V, but you got a 2 ounce tube of 6RR. You know what I mean? And then you're trying to figure out how you
Yeah.
can get that
I want to applaud because we do need to get our bars together, the color bars in particular, but all of our back bar, all of our retail and everything, and make sure that we have adequate product there.
because
Yeah.
COVID exposed so much. Like during the pandemic, I don't know. I don't know. Did we talk about that? I wrote a book during
Oh, okay.
yeah, retail targets and conversion, because I
Okay.
wanted people to know, because so many people was in my DMs like, how do I get the influence products? How do I get the products? How do I get the shampoo? How do I get the conditioner? Where do you get who's your distributor? But before that, these same people, I've sat in classes in front of you and told you, retail pay for classes, retail pay rent, retail pay for products, retail pay for your snack bar, and people be looking at me like, it's not that deep. Or they'll think that if I sell this client the shampoo, they're going to stop coming as much. No, they are going to keep coming more because they're going to respect the fact that you have everything on your back bar. You have it at the front for them to purchase.
Right.
You know, and it's like you have to be mindful of that. And during the pandemic, I did not miss a beat. I made $15,000, well, $17,000 altogether during the pandemic, right? I got the proof, okay? I made $17,000 during the pandemic with products. I was shipping them out like no other. Me and my husband was taking bags to the post office every day. People from Chicago, Michigan. We had people from Delaware, New Jersey, Arizona. We had people from California, everywhere ordering products from little old me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when there was a stylist probably in their city who was in my DMs, how do I purchase the products?
Right.
It says influence. Go to influence.com and set up a stylist account so that you can go ahead and get the products. But people were sleeping on it. But when they saw me posting every day how them packages was flying out, it was like, wait a minute, she's making money. I need to be there. And it was like one of those situations where I felt bad for stylists who were still trying to sneak and do hair, who had started doing hair out of their houses, people who were getting sick because we had no other options. And it was heartbreaking.
Right. But there were other options, like you're
totally.
Yeah.
There was totally. And I still have not stopped. I still sell the products. I don't ship them out as much because a lot of people are, going to get their hair done. But I know that now, since it sounds like we may get shut down again, I've been getting a lot of orders lately. It's just, it's a lot to think about, but it works. If you set up a system and start thinking of how you can move forward and doing that, it does work.
Right. Yeah, that is wonderful to hear, because we spent a month with retailing, because it's like we're seeing these trends and numbers aren't going the right way. The vaccine is out, but that's going to be months before it makes any kind of impact, and there may be more shutdowns. It's like one of my folks in my mastermind is in California, so they're shut down
right now.
Yeah. So
people that aren't making it to be able to open back up. I was able to pay my rent, get my client, keep it moving, so that when I came back, I was able to go back in full force.
Right.
And moving back in, and my distributors was looking at me like, what are you doing? Because every week I'm spending $1,800, $1,300, $900 to get more products, it's like, you're killing it right now. I'm like, ain't nobody else doing retail. What am I supposed to
do? Right. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So that just reinforces it for everybody. It's like, we got to get those skills, so definitely listen to everything she said, take notes, come back and rewind.
For sure.
And then, check out the other 4 interviews that I did for Black Stylists, for, Beauty Superstars Talk, because it's like, we want you to know how to do this. And it's like, there's so much information and so many people wanting to pour into you.
Yeah.
And all of this, you have access to for free. So you don't even have any excuses. But I think you're absolutely right that COVID did expose a lot. I just wrote an article a few days ago. It's like, it's exposed a lot about the industry. I think a lot of times we just haven't been taking the care of clients that we should or could.
Exactly.
And learning, really getting back to some of those key points. So we're into all these great conversations. So backtrack us a little bit with your message of don't quit. and share some of the things that you've been through that have, made you into the person that you are now, that's sitting here telling us all these wonderful things that we should do.
Right.
People are like, oh, well, she was just born like that, or she just,
Oh,
popped
baby,
up one
no.
day.
It does not happen like that. It took a lot of time and learning, having a lot of going through a lot of adversities. And I'm someone who I have come around to go through so much and just always been able to pick back up because I just refuse to give up. I have my daughter who's watching me. I have my sons who are watching me. And, I want my daughter to know what it means to be a strong woman, but still be vulnerable at the same time, to be able to let someone take care of you. I want my sons to know that it's okay to have a woman who's strong. You know what I mean? And how to treat a woman who's strong. Because a lot of us, a lot of the issues that we have come from men, or just making poor decisions overall when we're younger. And we think that because we made those poor decisions, that we are going to be held back, or somebody's not going to allow us to have this, or somebody's not going to allow us to do this because we did that back then. And that's so untrue. Because I talked about it with you, and I had opened up about that. I've been incarcerated. I was incarcerated for 2 years for something that I didn't do. I was exonerated later, but it just was being away from my children, not seeing my children, being in abusive relationships, different things like that. And these are things that could have crippled me, right? Or could have put me in a situation where I felt like because I was a better woman, or because I let someone do this to me, I can't succeed, or different things like that. Absolutely not. Once I learned that I could fight back and I could be strong and move forward, I did that, and I kept going. And I wanted to be able to express that to other women, and even men, if it happens to, because we do have men who are abused as well.
Right.
And even with cycles of abuse with the LGBT community, cycles of abuse within men overall with women, and women with men. Though when you have those situations, you have to know that you have an outlet. Some people say, oh girl, you could have got out of that, please, like you didn't have to stay. You don't know what it's like to have battered woman syndrome. And I know what that's like to have somebody do something to you, and they feel like they want to apologize, or tell you that they love you so much and they don't know what to do, and all of the above. And that's a bunch of bull crap. They may love you, but love don't hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you love me, you're not going to hurt me. But then I had to also learn what they say: hurt people hurt people. So you got these are some damaged men out here, and learning their backgrounds and knowing where they come from and knowing what they've been through. It kind of puts you in a position to kind of understand where it may go. So you have different options. You have options, but I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not. But once you have that freedom, because some people don't make it out alive, know? So, and it's a very serious situation. So I always explain to people, you do have options, and always know that you are who's important in all situations, because you can't help your family if you can't help yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So being incarcerated taught me a lot about people. Not so much the people who are in there. I'm talking about the people on the outside, the people who I call my friends, people who I thought would be there for me, people who I thought would always stand by me and all that kind of stuff. When I looked up, nobody was there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And having to be in a situation. And I think that hitting rock bottom and having to climb and work my way back up gave me a different perception of life and how I want to deal with things moving forward. So I value things differently. So a lot of times you guys will hear me say purpose over popularity. I don't want to be Instagram famous or social media famous. I literally want to be purposeful and offer something to someone who is ready to give up, who doesn't know where to go, who is at their wit's end, because I've been there. Mm-hmm. It's situations where you just be like, I could just end it all today and let it be over with. And I'm here to tell my story. So I try to make sure I share that with people and make it clear and let them understand that, you have your own power. You just have to find it, a large majority of the time. Yeah. So it's deep.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, like some people don't make it out alive. And
Yeah.
if someone is in, an abusive situation, I know you shared some things, just in your story, but is there something, like you say, there's always hope, but sometimes we can't see clearly enough to see, which direction to move. Is there anything that you might be able to lend to someone in that situation?
Yeah, if you have children, your children, always look at them, always look at God first. That's first and foremost, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we're put in certain situations because anything that happens to us was written for us, right? And it's either a blessing or a lesson. You're either going to learn from it or you're going to be taught how to deal with something moving forward, right? Or you're going to digress from it, and you're going to fall back into a situation where you don't know where to go. The first place to go is to God. That's first and foremost. Secondly, you want to think about your children, and then think about, like, these babies are going to grow up remembering this stuff. They have trauma, different things like that. You have kids who have went through cycles of abuse where they're 25 and 26 years old trying to figure out how to be 16 because they missed those parts of their lives because of those traumas. You know what I mean? So, and also just trying to find someone you could trust, or find somewhere to go that you can trust someone to help you. I'm grateful that I always looked at myself as being like, kind of like, I guess like a little tough. growing up, I was a little tough. And I always had to fight. I was kind of small. I was always skinny, but I always had like hips and legs because I ran track. I played basketball. I went to dancing school. And people would take advantage. And then the way that I talked, like, people thought because I didn't have that. I guess from the area I grew up in, it was like I didn't have that kind of talk. I went to a good school coming up, so I talked different from everybody else. They're like, "Where you from?" Because you say after instead of saying after, and I'm like, I don't know where it came from, but it's just how I talk. And I got picked on a lot, and I was small, but I always had big feet. That's like the funniest thing ever. I'm 5'5", well, 5'4.5". My husband is 5'5", and he's taller than me.
Okay.
But I'm like 5'4" and some change, and I wear a size 9.5 shoe. So I've always had big feet. So when I was 12, I was wearing like probably like an 8. And I was 12 years old, so I was fairly small, but I had big feet. I got picked on, all of the above. But it made me tougher. I had brothers. They made me tougher. So I was always fighting. So I looked at it like, how I let this man come into my life and put his hands on me, and I never fought back. I just never understood that. And then it was like then I realized I felt sorry for him. You know what I mean? I started to feel sorry for him. But when I started to feel sorry for him, I started feeling sorry for myself. So then he was able to gain power over me by doing that. And once he gained that power, I was like, I had to take it back because I can't live like this. I got a daughter now, and she's growing up, and she's going to be looking at this situation, and I got out of it. So a lot of times you got to find your inner strength. But my main advice is to find God first, and build your relationship with your Lord first. Because a lot of times we're put in situations that for us to have to turn back, to our Lord and pray and different things like that in order to gain that strength. So that's something else too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is first. Absolutely. But thank you for sharing all of that. That was very, right to the heart. So we appreciate you sharing, and it's real, it's what people are going through stuff. And that's why I wanted to do this Life Changers things, because the people who are, inspiring and changing lives and that type of thing, it's because they have gone through something, and because, like, especially you, it's like, I just feel this inner core of, I know who I am, I'm confident, I'm comfortable. If you're not comfortable, then that's your issue,
For sure.
And I think it takes, us getting to that point, to get to that point,
For sure. And I want to say something really quickly also. I see Joy's on here. Hey, Joy, I love you.
Yeah.
I would say, like, with social media, because I know a lot of times stylists get caught up in social media. And that's another way that people begin to devalue themselves. So when you look at people and you see people that's got 1,000 likes, 2,000, 3,000 likes, and it's like, my work is good too. Am I not doing enough? Maybe I should be doing this because she's doing this. Stay in your lane. Create a lane for yourself and keep it moving. It's people literally that I follow, and I know for sure that may have 100,000 followers, 3,000, 4,000, 400,000 followers, all of the above, right? But they're struggling to keep people on their books. They're struggling to raise their prices, struggling to, it looks like, they got all these clients. Every time I turn around, it's a different face in their chair. I don't think that's a good thing. I'm one for client retention. So with client retention, I always feel like you should at least have a 90% turnaround on your returning clients. Literally. Right. And I always say that I had that. Like I literally go to my books right now and I can show you I have a 90% turnaround on returning clients because I have learned to master client retention. Whereas some people just want to keep people in their chair. I just want to be booked. I just want to be booked. I just want to be booked. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's more about consistency. You know what I mean? Because I had people that come to me and tell me that they booked with a stylist, went got their hair done, got a haircut, and never could get back on their books. So now I have a client that I've gained that's now a permanent client that's moving me forward to being able to close my book indefinitely. So because once I reach 100% capacity of returning clientele, I'm going to stop taking clients. Because I have my clientele, I have my base, and you have to know your target market. So with that, stop letting Instagram, social media, all these places make you feel less than because you see somebody who has followers. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about consistency. And if you have consistency in your business, who cares how many people follow you on Instagram? You know what I mean? If your book is booked and you making money and you're doing good, who cares how many people are following you, how many likes you get? Your work is amazing, and people see that. They may tell other people like, girl, wait a minute, you got to follow the girl Hstylze because girl, her color, girl, her waves, her haircuts, and now this person is in my DMs. How do I get an appointment with you? I can't get on your book. This and that. There. When does your book open? So it's more about that. That's why I said it's more about purpose over popularity. Because if you want to be Instagram famous, then don't talk to me. Because I can't tell you how to be Instagram famous. I can't. I can tell you how to be productive and consistent. But if you want to be Instagram famous, that's not my thing. It's just not.
Yeah, I so appreciate you sharing the things that you're sharing because I think it's so true. There's a lot of that, I guess, compare and despair.
Yeah,
and, and like shifting, like you say, it's like, oh, well, they're doing that. Maybe I should do that. And yeah, so I get that. But before we can't have you leave as, one of the 100, 100 modern salon content creators without you sharing a little bit of something about what we need to do with social media. How do we have that on purpose and potentially gain followers as well?
What I want to say is show up every day. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Joy is on here and Joy does amazing work, right?
Yes.
And she's consistent in her posting. The thing that I love most about social media is that you're able to be consistent with your posting. Make sure your work is clean all the time. You can't be drinking a Pepsi and doing your client hair and you go to take the picture and the Pepsi bottle is sitting in the background and different things like that. Start expanding your horizons as far as how you take your pictures. I'm right now I'm using a digital camera and I use my phone from time to time, but I started using a professional camera. So I took a photography course during COVID so I could kill it and then do something that nobody else is doing something different. That's how I started my editorial muse. So I started doing that because I'm tired of combing hair. I'm tired of seeing somebody curl. I'm tired of seeing waves. I'm tired of somebody's fingers in the front of pushing the bangs so you can see the layers. I'm over all of it because it's like your whole timeline. Sometimes I feel like I want to unfollow a lot of hairstylists because it's like everybody is just doing the same thing. Do something different. Offer information. Share your worth. Share your worth. You know what I mean? And make people understand that, you know, this is somebody I would love to pay attention to. Or maybe somebody, if somebody says, hey, do you know a stylist in Maryland, DC, Virginia, different things like that? Oh yeah, you could go see my girl Joy. Or you could go over here and you could see such and such in DC. You could go see such and such Commandi in Texas. You could go see a Lucci Zelda in Chicago, because they put their work on the forefront, and they don't have all these thousands of followers, but their work is consistent and is good.
Right. Well, that is so fabulous, so wonderful. I feel like we got so much, you know, that you gave us such wonderful advice and suggestions and life experiences, and it still feels like we didn't even get to talk about some of the other things.
I'm sorry. And I'm just going on and on and on. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I mean, it's perfect. Like you say, it's like it works exactly the way it's supposed to work. And that's how this evening has worked. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me and for sharing so generously with everybody. There's so many, you know, audiences, I guess you could say, that can get so much out of this, you know, whether you're feeling like you're, you know, like you don't fit in.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got some messages for you. It's like with your charging, with your hair coloring, you know, I think some fabulous things with the hair color tips and, you know, the classes and all that kind of good stuff, as well as, you know, hearing your story and, you know, don't quit.
Like, look, I only got 50. I think I got 56. I think I got 56,000 followers on social media, and I just got nominated for an AIA award in the Emerging Color Artist category. So that was big to me. So I didn't win, but I feel like I won. God take know who I am.
Right. Yep. And you are definitely showing your community well.
So guys, keep going, keep pushing, don't give up, and always remember, you are so important. It's about you. It's about you and your relationship with God. That's also, I always got to make sure I throw that in there. Being Muslim, I think people always think like you want to try to convert them, like you going to look like me tomorrow. That's not what it's about. It's really about being thankful no matter what. Like we always say alhamdulillah for everything. That means that that you give praise and glory to God for everything, the good and the bad. Great. Just gotta, you know, stay close to your Lord and just stay focused, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. That is wonderful. And so what's next for you, and how can we stay in touch with you?
What's next? I'm trying to set up some classes. I'm really working on trying to figure out just setting up some virtual classes, and I want to do something where I could actually send you out a mannequin to follow along with the class, and all it'll be a part of the package. And then also I want to do a business class, business and social media.
Like, I don't know. I just popped that up. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And I didn't even get to read it all. I just wanted to throw it up there. So
yes, thank you. But I want to do some social media classes in order to just to know how to stay focused within social media without looking over your shoulder. Because I always say, if you're in a race, right, and you're running,
right,
as soon as you lose focus, you look at that other person's foot to see how fast they're moving, you've lost the race.
Yep. I said that the other day. That's funny.
You're out of the race. So yeah, social media class, a business class, and then also a color class coming up. So I really that's what's coming up next. And then I'm gonna keep doing my photo shoot. So my goal is to do 2 photo shoots a month and keep it rolling.
Awesome. So how can we keep in contact with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hstylze, Hstylze. That has become my salon blog page. I've changed it to a salon blog page. Or you can follow at The Covered Colorist. That's my personal blog. And I'm on here also as Hullema Reddick on Facebook. And I am under Hstylze Hair Studio.
Okay. Let's see if I can get that up.
Okay.
Hstylze on Instagram. I spelled it correctly, correct? Right?
Stylze. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So follow her on Instagram. She gave you her Facebook, and also where else did you say?
I'm on Facebook, and Instagram. I have a Twitter, but my Twitter is a little raunchy. I don't want nobody following me on Twitter. Because I say what I feel on Twitter. I'm sorry. Sometimes you gotta have to let it all out. But yeah, I'm Hstylze on Instagram and the covered colorist.
Okay.
The underscore covered underscore colorist on Instagram also. That's
Okay.
my
Perfect. I'm not gonna try to type that right now.
That's right. Well, it's on Instagram. So if you go on the Instagram page, you'll
Yes.
find it here.
Yeah. You'll definitely find her there and some fabulous things all along the way. So yeah. So thank you so much again. And
thank you.
We are continuing our Life Changers month. Next week will be the last one of the year, and we're going to have Mr. Darius Peace on. So he is changing lives in the natural hair arena and creating new techniques and training people on how to run their business better. And I can't wait for him to be here. He's got great infectious energy, and it'll be a great way to close out the year. We have our podcast that's up. It's Beauty Superstars Talk, and it is on Podbean is where we launch from, but it's on all of your favorite places on Apple or iTunes, whichever you call it at this point. Spotify, Stitcher, all those good places. Anywhere that you listen to your podcast, we should be there. So look for Beauty Superstars Talk, and please follow us and listen and share. And I'm actually thinking about doing some classes for next year for people that will happen on the podcast, or kind of as a private session for folks on the podcast. So stay tuned for that, and let me know any ideas you have for classes. Okay. And then we'll have, I won't do one the week between Christmas and New Year's. And I may actually be able to I was able to interview my mom a little while ago. We didn't do it by video, we did it audio. So it's like, I'm going to look at trying to get it uploaded onto the podcast so you guys can hear the tree that this apple kind of fell close to. And so I'm excited about that. And then we'll be into 2021. So it's like, woo, I think everybody's ready to kind of go skating. We don't even know what's going to happen then. We don't know anything, but we're ready to say goodbye to 2020. So,
okay.
So with that, we are going to launch, each month I do a theme, and it's for under 40. So you're going to meet some fabulous people who are under 40 years old, who are doing fantastic things and moving the future of our industry forward. Okay. So I can't wait for that, for those interviews to come up. So stay tuned. I'll be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. with Darius Peace. So I guess I should say something like peace out, But I want to thank everybody that joined us live, everybody that's watching the replay. Again, if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us there. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. And definitely share the love. It's like all of that this is so rich. Everything that Hullema shared, please, forward, tag, whatever you need to do to let people know about this, this platform, because I think it's so wonderful to hear the stories and hear the richness and the excellence that's in our community. Yeah, so,
for sure.
So thank you again, Hullema.
And thank you, Miki. I appreciate you.
All right.
Love you. And thanks everybody for joining. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks so much. It's like, we'll see you next week. So yes.